It makes me feel like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. It's fantastic because one thing with World Team Tennis we want to do is grow the sport and develop the sport. And anytime you give the gift of tennis to anyone, particularly a child, it's a gift of a lifetime. So I'm really thrilled to hear that.
You know, I think coming to World Team Tennis, it brings other fans also, besides tennis playing fans. And I think people are, you know, their eyes are kind of open when they see that they get to see 5 different kinds of matches. And they get to see everything. They get to see the singles, the doubles, the mixed doubles, and to see the crowd participation and the fun. Everybody's having fun. It's a team concept, which, you know, for somebody like me, when you're playing in an individual sport, is a wonderful welcome, because it's not all about you, it's about, you know, everybody. And I told Billie Jean the other day, it's like the wonderful thing also about World Team Tennis is you look over at the side on the bench, and I mean, I felt like I had 4 or 5 coaches, you know, and because everybody is helping and everybody's giving you advice. And you know, when do you ever have that in tennis? You always have to do it yourself.
We think immediate feedback is really important to help the development of a player. Because one thing when you're playing tournaments, usually the coaching effort goes on at dinner that night after the match. It's too late. And also the player, a lot of times, you know, everybody thinks, oh, the coach makes the huge difference. It's not really. It's really the player makes the coach. If you don't have A players, I'm sorry. If you put an A player against a B player, an A player is usually going to win. It's life. It's like in basketball, baseball, football. That's why the buck stopped with Chris when she played team tennis. She had to take all the 3 all points. It's true. Did you used to take them? I bet you did, right?
In dubs?
On the return? Yeah, look at her. Of course, right, exactly. You pay the big bucks, you take the heat. Like Derek Jeter. And Rodriguez, so those guys. Yeah. Get a question right over here? Down in Fort Lauderdale.
Everett Academy, or my brother will get really mad.
Oh, the Everett Academy, that's right, because John
manages it, yeah.
Since I've known him since he was a baby. Yeah, he does the real work. I know, but you're out there with the kids every day, from what I understand.
The state of women's tennis. Well, we have the USTA also right next door to us, or right on our property. So I'm very lucky that I get to see the girls play. Nothing is really. I mean, I don't think right now at this point, in the next year or two, we're going to have any top 10 players. Let's put it like that. But I see a lot of potential with the 15, 16-year-olds right now. There are a lot of good players.
Have you seen the 12s at all? I keep hearing about we have some good 12 and unders.
Yeah, the 12 and unders are good, but I
keep
never
bugging
liked
Patrick. Tell me names. He won't tell me names. I think he wants to not give any attention to the kids yet, which is probably a much better idea.
Yeah. But there are some good 15, 16-year-olds, and I agree. There are some good 12, but I get very nervous if I talk about them, because you just never know with the dynamics of parents and pressure and how that will affect them. But you know, I don't. Everybody in America, everybody seems to be down on American tennis, and you know, let's just give the world credit. It's a global sport now, and there are players coming out of countries that Billie Jean and I, you know, never played.
Right, we didn't have to play them.
We didn't have to play them. Tennis wasn't in most of these countries, and now tennis is like the #1 or #2 sport in these countries. So therefore, they put a lot of money into, and the government puts a lot of money into developing the players and tennis developmental centers, and you know, I think we're doing the best we can right now.
Yes, but you know, see, sports is a microcosm of society, so it reflects the world situation, not just in our sport, but in technology and every type of business, everything. And everything across the board in America, we have to compete now with the rest of the world. If you saw Waiting for Superman, did you see that? How many saw Waiting for Superman?
But I will see it.
You notice no, but they talked about it. It's about our educational system. You need to see it. And it's the same thing, even educationally now. For instance, people in China that used to come here and study would stay here. Now they might come here and study, but they'll go home, or they'll actually stay home because their schools, say in technology, are just as good as ours. So we're in a competitive situation, and as I tell American children, suck it up, let's go, and let's compete. I think it's exciting. I mean, I think it's challenging. If I were young again today, I would love it. I'd love to learn other languages. I mean, I'd make myself at least Spanish, probably Arabic, Mandarin. I mean, those are, you gotta have those. That's the future. So don't put your head in the sand, and it's challenging though. I think it's exciting. Didn't you? I mean, I used to remember Chris, like always wanting to improve her game at any age. That's what champions are made of. They want the challenges, they want to be great, and they're American kids who are like that. We just have to find them and develop them, but they're there. American kids have guts too, believe me.
I remember, I have to interject, I remember back, I think it was about 20 years ago, when everybody was congratulating Billie Jean on, oh, you know, what she did for women's tennis and how great Women's Sports Foundation and how great women have come a long way in sports. And Billie Jean, I remember I said that to her, and she looked at me and she goes, we have a long way to go. We're nowhere until we have team sports. And 20 years ago, the concept of team sports was like, and I was like, I looked at her like, what, are you kidding me? You know, I couldn't relate to that. And she goes, no, women will never be successful in sports unless we get the team sports going. And look what's happened. Look what, you know, we could be also, some of our great athletes that could be in tennis have gone to team sports, and not every kid is cut out for an individual sport. Maybe they prefer team sports.
Why do you think we started World Team Tennis? I still think when a child signs up for tennis, he or she should be put on a team immediately. They should get rid of the word lesson, and have skill drills just like they do in soccer, but you're on a team. What I would do is put a child on a team. I'd have the children get in a circle and choose their own name. Their own name. That way they start to bond, and the socialization process starts, because socialization is just a big part of learning as studying or learning your skill and whatever. But I think it's so important. Americans love team sports. And I always wanted things to be co-ed though, obviously. If you watch a World Team Tennis match, you see my philosophy on life. Men and women working together, having supportive and leadership roles that are interchangeable, and really cooperating and helping each other win in life as well as on the court.
Play throughout.
We went to college a lot. I went to college 3 years, but
right.
I didn't graduate. But that's one of my goals, actually. I have to do that maybe.
So anyway,
No, but the point is, another thing that hurts us is the collegiate tennis isn't popular enough. It isn't revenue producing. And the reason we started World Team Tennis is if they would use this format, they'd be on one court. When you see March Madness, every time you watch a World Team Tennis match, I want you to visualize we could be that same thing for our sport of tennis. And we keep the cost down because it's co-ed. We wouldn't have administrative for the men and administrative for the women. We'd have one administration cost, which we thought about when we started World Team Tennis. We thought about all that if we could help get it on something on one court, and with Title IX and the co-ed aspect, we'll take care of that. That's done. You know, it's equal, and away we go. But can you imagine if you had our matches like you see here and just when you see March Madness, can you visualize us having a match like that with everybody, the school, the mascot, the music, just like what we have? I mean, it's perfect, but most of the schools want to keep, you know, they play 6 singles on a court in college. Have you seen a college match, right? It's the only time I get a headache trying to watch, because I try to watch 6 matches. I don't know where to go. Unless you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you don't know who to watch, or a friend. So I like everything on one court, like in football, basketball, or whatever, and you really focus on that match, just like you do in basketball. The basketball was my first love. It's pretty obvious, I guess, it was team tennis.
I think, I'd like to address you because you brought up the academy. You know, when you go to our academy, I can only say this on behalf of our academy. You all have different goals. The kids all have different goals,
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody's going to be number 1 in the world. Not everybody's going to be a champion, and so the beauty, I think, is that we work with the kids according to what their goals are, and a lot of their goals are, you know, I want to be good enough to play in state championships. I want to be good enough to play on my high school team. I want to be good enough to go to college, and the wonderful thing is 100% of the kids, 100% of our kids go to school.
Yeah, but the great thing about their academy, because I've been there and I listen to the youngsters that come out of it, is it's really about the total person.
Yeah,
it's about mind, body, and soul. It's just not about being as skillful in your tennis. And I think that's just as important as anything in life, because if you're going to get the crazy ones will rise to the top, like Chris and me. I mean, we really wanted it. We were like driven. We are driven still, probably. I am. So it's like,
Yeah.
if
Well,
you're highly motivated and God gave you the abilities and the potential, and you're willing to put your time and effort in, then
It's
you're
your
gonna
choice,
rise. It's
yeah.
a choice, though, right? But I know at your academy, I was really impressed with the fact you did take each child's goal into consideration, and then you also you just saw about the whole person,
Yeah.
and so they're healthy and happy, not just great tennis players. Well, we called it World Team Tennis for a reason. We'd like it to go international. We keep talking to people, but we have not, unfortunately, gotten there. We just talked to people a few months ago that didn't pan out. So, yes, we keep trying to find the right fit. You know, we'd like to be in Asia. We'd like to be in Europe. Why not? There's, you know, we have 2,000 men players and we have 1,500 women players, and they all want a job. They all want to work. You know, the media is only really cares about 6 players, usually, the exception. And I worry about not just the exception, but we've got great players. I mean, there's 800 guys playing baseball. If I tell you I'm going to bring a Major League Baseball player or something, they go, wow. My brother was a Major League Baseball player. He's a relief pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. You know, he was in the majors over 10 years. So I grew up around baseball. I grew up around basketball. My dad was a basketball player. But it's like, if I told you I was going to bring the 800 best tennis player, you'd look at me like I'm not interested. But if I did it with baseball, you'd be really interested. So it's really hard on me when all of our athletes playing on the tours and playing in challengers and, you know, grinding it out. The journeymen are they really can play well. I mean, and no one respects them. It gets me crazy. It's the same with coaching. The reason we have coaching in World Team Tennis is that we think coaches aren't appreciated. And the day that coaching is more appreciated in our sport, then there's going to be more respect when you go out to learn from different people. And I wouldn't call them teaching professionals. I'd be calling them coaches. People like the word coach. They understand what that means if it's baseball, basketball. So get rid of the word lesson. Sign up kids for teams. It doesn't. And we have singles in our format. We didn't leave out singles. We've got it. We got 2 sets out of the 5 are singles, but it is a team sport. So 60% of the scoring effort is in doubles, and we think that's important. There's some great doubles players that play, you know, week in and week out. This is perfect for them. The players who can play singles, doubles, and mixed, it really suits them. But the great players adapt. I mean, you can tell a player any rule you want. You can change the rules. You can do it. They adapt. Greatness always adapts to what the rules are. I mean, for instance, I think 3 out of 5 sets is too long now. I think it's too tough. The way the players have to play, it is physically so much tougher than when we played. I think 2 out of 3, for instance, is plenty in the majors. I don't think they should be playing. I would like a player to play an extra 5 years and not give up. I hate it when they quit at 29 and 30. I'm just getting used to them. I really like them. I love watching them play. I mean, I'm 67. I've seen a lot of generations come and go. I hate it when they leave the game because I'm never going to see them play again. It's just, I mean, I'd love to see, I wish Sampras had played 5 extra years at least. I'm thrilled that Federer keeps saying he wants to play at least 5 more years. I don't want to not see him anymore play like he plays. And you can't play, you know, you only have so many years as an athlete, so you want to see him just get the most out of it. It's so much fun. There's so much entertainment when I go watch them, and I really appreciate their skill and how much hard work they put in.
And if so, what did her success mean?
When I saw Chris, I told the other players we finally found our next generation superstar. And I said, she's here, and she's going to be here quickly because she's playing so well already. I watched her play Marianne Eisel in the first round at Forest Hills in 1971, and I think you were down, was it 4 match points? Or 5?
6.
6 match points. See? I knew Chris would remember.
Sorry.
You were down 6 match points. You made every single shot, and most of them were on returns. They just weren't serving. You weren't serving.
Right.
And I remember that, and I got up from my seat and walked away, and I said, "This one's got the gift. This one's got it." And I went and told everybody. I just saw the next great champion. You know, she's gonna be our next superstar. She is our superstar because we had just started our tour. 1971 was the first year we had women's professional tennis as a tour. We had a few tournaments that year. We had no infrastructure. We just started it, and Chris, it was perfect timing. We're very, very fortunate because Chris came along at a time when we needed something special and a shot in the arm. And when Chris Evert came around, she was the one. And it was great to pass the baton to Chris Evert. I'm very thrilled to have had that privilege. I hated losing to her, but I didn't have any problem. I knew the deal. The writing was on the wall.
Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, for being here tonight. We really appreciate it.